Hi, Jason Pilgrim here from the Profitable Practice podcast, where we help allied health professionals just like you empower and inspire the lives of so many more people by building bigger and better businesses. Let's go and get stuck in right now. G'day everyone, welcome to another version of the Profitable Practice podcast. And today on my left, but in case it's appearing on the right, either way, the pretty face of the two, Erin Bell, ex-Australian netballer and dead set legend. I've known her for quite a few years now, and thought I'd get Ezra on the show and talk about some really cool things about her career, injuries, where she's been, involvement with allied health, and the fact that she's an exercise physiologist as well is also really cool as well. So, hey, Erin, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, I know that you've done a couple of one big podcast recently, and when I said, hey, time to jump on here, and I said, we're going to do video as well, you were a little bit, hang on a sec, I'm going to have to, dress up and that type of stuff. But don't panic, it's all good. We're just going to...
I said I'd wash my hair, but I didn't, so sorry.
That's all right. I really don't think people are going to worry about how you look when they've got to put up with my ugly head, so don't stress. Hey, for those that, you should all know who Erin is, and if you don't, a quick little caption. Erin started into the what used to be the ANZ Championship back in 2005, so it was a while ago. Let's pretend it was sooner than that, because otherwise it probably makes you feel a bit old. Yeah.
I know.
Did a bit of time with the Sydney Swifts. You won your first title, and being a Sydney sider myself, pretty happy to say that we're going to claim you as ours for the rest of your life now.
That's right.
Living in Melbourne at the moment, but you did move to the Thunderbirds, the Pink Ladies, and in Adelaide, and picked up 2 more titles there. World Cups in 2011 and 2015.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And I'm going to try and think. You actually captained the Australian Diamonds in the netball in around 2014, 2015 type of time too, didn't you? Wasn't it the Fast Five?
No, it wasn't the Diamonds. It was an Australian Fast Five team. So it's a different format of the game. Where you get to shoot 3-pointers and you only have 5 on a team. So it was just a short tournament that I captained. So that was not the actual tournament, but still good. Yeah.
Absolutely. The Australian team you get to captain is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And goal attack, goal shooter, that was always your strength and your favorite time.
Yes, I've also played a little bit of wing attack over my career, which is fun to get out of the goal circle sometimes, take the pressure off. Yeah,
absolutely. One of my favourite moments from netball, it's probably been said 1,000 times over, was that last shot with about a second and a half to go, back probably around about 2000, World Cup win. Sherelle McMahon. I can't even remember what year. What exactly it was, but might have been like 2001 or something like that.
I think 99.
99. There you go. Now I'm showing my age. But, I still remember that very, very vividly myself. But so let's get stuck in. So thanks for joining us. I wanted to there's some really cool little stories and bits and pieces, and we're actually going to break up this into a couple of different podcasts to keep it nice and short, as we do with the Profitable Practice podcast. But first and foremost, you're an EP, which is really cool. And you probably had some injuries over the years. And I know not as many as what some people do in the netball side of things.
Yes.
Give me a bit of a rundown. What are some of the injuries you've had?
Well, I was pretty lucky. I didn't need a massive knee reconstruction or anything too much like that. But I did have a few injuries along the way that were kind of confusing, and no one could really tell me what they actually were. And they all ended up being just overuse tendonitis type of injuries. So that was kind of, a challenge for me to be able to have an injury that was going to stop me playing, but to just have to learn multiple little niggly bits of my body to make sure I could still play. So I think, I had hamstring tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis, which a lot of people do, a bit of plantar fascia along the way. And I have like a bunion on my foot, which just, I don't know, it just has always been there. But that, yeah, gave me a fair bit of pain along the career.
I have them too, so don't
It's
stress it.
just a random one. Like even in the gym doing lunges, like whenever you're flexing your toe. And I think a lot of my injuries stemmed from that because I wasn't putting equal pressure through my foot when I was jumping or landing. I was kind of, you know, going on the outside of my foot, and then that, you know, just meant that the weight and everything through my legs was all kind of out of whack. So I think that little bunion probably, caused a lot of my injuries up my body. Yeah.
I'm not the diagnostic specialist, but I do know, because of my 2 bad bunions, that you do have to come off that. You're meant to be trying to launch on your run side of things off that second met head, right?
Yeah.
So anything that's having a big bunion and the toe sort of wants to just tuck in a little bit there. Yeah. God knows.
Just painful. Yeah. So that were probably my biggest injuries. And then, just, I don't know. I've always had little random finger injuries, but nothing that's going to stop me playing. And that was why I was pretty lucky throughout my career.
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously ACLs are one of the big ones that quite a few netballers go through, and people like Paige
and like we're getting so much more educated about that. So our training has changed over the journey because of the research and everything that's going into ACL injuries in netball. So I think, you know, hopefully that had a bit to do with it. But there was a stage in netball where I think there was 8 or 10 ACLs in 1 year, and then Netball Australia did this big research hit, and there was, you know, a physio employed full-time for a year that did a lot of data and analysis, and now there's a special ACL program that is given to all junior clubs, you know, all clubs throughout Australia, that so girls can actually start to learn the type of training and the type of injury prevention stuff they need to do to protect their knees. And I think we have seen a decrease in that injury, which is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've done 2 ACLs myself, and not through netball. Although you might be interested to know, I have a very illustrious netball career myself. I played 1 season mixed netball with my allied health team and our clinic. It was probably about 6 or 7 years ago now. We remained undefeated. We've got a trophy and a little plaque. It was the inaugural tournament that we did, and I decided that that would do me for my netball career.
Yeah, so I hung up before you hurt yourself.
Absolutely, before I hurt myself and before I can lose a game, I thought, you know, I got a pretty good record. So you can keep your ANZ titles and your World Cups and that. I've got a little $5 trophy from the trophy man down the road. So, hey, talking about physios and things like that. Obviously, over the years, you've had a lot to do with allied health providers in and around netball, whether it's Swifts, whether it's, you know, Thunderbirds. I'm not going to talk about Collingwood too much because I don't like Collingwood in the AFL, so I'm going to tarnish you with
the most resources in there. So
yeah. At least I'm seeing behind you too there that there's a bit of a Collingwood thing that's not stuck up. So let's just keep that hidden as well, right? You either love them or hate them. That's the rule. So, allied health providers, who have you been exposed to over the years, and what changes have you noticed? Because 2005 to 2000, like the end of 2019, now you would have seen a lot of change with what type of providers are around and what's more utilised.
Yeah, I think we've had physios for pretty much the whole journey. So my first year in Swifts, I definitely remember a physio. I wasn't really allowed to see him though because he was for the senior players. But as the time's gone on, physios are around and they're more and more accessible, and girls are encouraged to see them. They're like your third leg. The physio's never far. I think over the time we've seen dietitians definitely come in and play a role. There is sports science depending really what club you're at and what they can access. Sometimes the physios tend to do a bit of that role as well, which as an EP, we know that doesn't always work. But I think when together and complement each other, that's when they create the best program. So I think more going towards bringing in sports scientists specifically. But probably the biggest profession that's now in most clubs is a psychologist. So they're in there, you know, it's part of your training now that you're expected to see the psychologist regularly. And I think, yeah, we know that elite sport and mental health, it's a big push to, you know, make sure that athletes are mentally tough as well as physically tough. So they're definitely involved a lot more than they used to be. Back when I first started, there was nothing in that space whatsoever.
It's just harden up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And as a young player, it was, as I said, you don't need the physio, just get out there and run laps. Like you haven't earned your spot pretty much. You know, I would never change that for me in my career personally, because it did make me a tough player mentally to a point. But these days, yeah, it's a lot more well-being and making sure that athletes are, just performing on and off the court mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's obviously a large component of the strength and conditioning side. You alluded to the fact, obviously, with the ACL protocols that came in a couple of years ago. So there's a lot more, pre-season work and prehab work.
And the training has changed so much throughout my career as well. I was involved for 15 years at that level, and our pre-seasons back in the day used to be just kilometers, running, like long distances. You might have done a shuttle, but that's probably as creative as it got. And yeah, as the years went on, and these days, like my last year in at Collingwood, a lot of it was power-based, explosive, short, sharp, repetitive sprints. We could do our whole preseason on a netball court if we wanted now. Whereas 10 years ago, you didn't see the netball court for the whole of preseason. You were out in a footy field, laps. And then you'd come in and start your agility and your next phase, and pretty much feel like you had to start preseason all over again, because obviously you were aerobically fit for long distance, but that was not what we needed for the netball court. So thankfully, that is now a lot different, and you can kind of focus on your strength and your speed and your power all from the start, all from preseason.
And it's kind of funny now looking back on it probably as well, because it sounds like it's common sense to us now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like, I always just find it amazing how far we come in such a short period of time as such, like you said, just running laps and doing that aerobic base. You go back 15 years was just the done thing. But it blows my mind to think that we were that backwards 15 years ago, right?
I think it was just sports specific. So we were doing pre-seasons that footy players would do, and we had trainers who would train footy teams. So it worked for the footy boys. We'll just do it with the girls. That's fine. And, that specificity and just it being specific to sport, that kind of, probably because netball didn't have the resources, I guess, or the money, or the qualified, people that really wanted to work at netball. So we couldn't really complain. We just had to take whatever trainer would train us and do whatever program they knew. But it's changed so much, and the focus on injury prevention and strength as well in the gym. Like, the girls spend so much more time in the gym now than we did when I first started. Like, I was so weak. I couldn't lift the bar of the bench press. I was shocking. And
70 kilo bar.
I was like, I'm stuck under the 20 kilo bar. But to think now girls are in the gym 4 times a week in preseason, and the running complements that, as opposed to years ago when it was the other way around.
Yeah, right. And let's be honest, it's probably just put down to the professionalism of the sport now too. Like, obviously, netball's a lot more professional. There's money involved now. There's businesses involved.
Yeah.
It is a business, right? So the understanding is, it's not even, like, there is a lot of people that are wanting to get in and around the netball side of things from a business point of view and a financial point of view as well, which is great for yourself, and would have been better if it was there 15 years ago. I'm sure you would have preferred to be paid a bit more over the years as well to help out on those side of things. But that all tends to lift, isn't it? As a business community comes involved, and more sponsorship, more money, you can lift the professional side up, and then obviously roll through with those type of programs and that more focused approach.
They want to see a better game. They want to see, they want the sport to be better for our spectators. So for that, it needs to be faster, and girls need to be more athletic, stronger. That kind of all comes into it as well. And the other big thing that's changed over the years is actually bringing in individualized training programs. So, whereas 10 years ago, every single girl would have been given the same gym program, regardless of, what they actually needed to work on. Now, every athlete will have a training program specific to them. So the team will train together in the gym, but everyone will be doing something different and working on what they need to work on. And again, now that seems like, of course, why wouldn't we do that? That makes complete sense. But back 10 years ago, it wasn't really even that long ago. Like we just all had our team gym program. We all had our team running program. Nothing was individualized. Now we have that, and you have to, I think the other big thing is the load monitoring. So girls have to fill in a daily monitoring program every single day when they wake up. And after every single training session, they have to rank the session, how they felt, any injuries, blah, blah, blah. And then the sports scientists and the physios can use all that data and monitor their load and then predict injuries or change training sessions to prevent injuries. And that was just mind-blowing for us, the fact that, our training programs were becoming so specific, and we were kind of like, what are they? Like, this is annoying having to fill this app out every day. But then when we actually saw the benefits and saw how much better we felt because of it, now it's just a no-brainer. Every athlete is expected to do it.
Yeah. And again, like I said before, that really blows my mind to think, I've been in this industry for 15 odd years, and you sort of sit there and you go, wow, to think that you've just said, not even 10 years ago, there was still team running programs or team gym programs. It wasn't even that specific or individualized for a sport. And I think netball is still the second most participated sport in Australia behind soccer. Is that correct? Or is it number one?
I don't know. I always thought it was number one, but I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's up there. And it is crazy. But as you said, it's more of a business now. More people are invested in it. Thank God we've come to where we are, because I used to hate doing things that my body didn't like, but you had to push through it because that's the team program. Now, if I have a sore knee, or if my bunion won't bend in a certain way, instead of pushing through it, I get a modified exercise, and that's good. That allows me to continue training and playing. So,
So another 20 laps isn't just going to help the bunion pain ease off, right?
No, apparently not, which I've only just learned. So there you go.
Very good. Hey, Ezzy, as I said, we're going to divide this up into three. Probably three or so. We're just going to go and talk through a whole bunch of things. Some other stuff I want to go through in regards to athletes, pressures, mental health, how the business community comes in around that, and also how you've been able to transition from the athlete side and the competitive side through to your own business and your studying and that as well, because I think that's really important for a lot of people in our industry to be able to do, because so many of us come from sporting backgrounds and competitive backgrounds, maybe not, captaining diamonds and stuff like that, but, we all have our own limits, right? So, hey, thank you very much. I'm going to kill this session off here, and we'll move on from there. But, hey, thank you very much for being involved, and good luck with everything as you roll forward. And no doubt you'll be part of the forefront of so many more of the changes that are going to be happening in the netball world coming up as well.
Hope so. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks.
Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.